Time is valuable, information is valuable, and here you get everything you need to know in less than 5 minutes. Kalista Top Lane is a strong counterpick in the current meta, as tanks simply cannot deal with her during the lane phase. Due to the Hail of Blades rework, she got a very strong rune page now with Hail of Blades, Taste of Blood, Ghost Poro and Ravenous Hunter with Overheal and Legend Alacrity as secondary. You can tech in sudden impact to particularly easy lanes and cut down instead of Alacrity for hyper tanks. Your rune shards are attack speed, adaptive force and armor or magic resist depending on the matchup. Summoner spells, teleport and flash. You start the match by bonding with your jungler and buying a Doran's Blade plus 1 health potion. The first skill point goes into E and you max your Q by level 9 followed by your E hitting level 11. Since you are in a solo lane, you don't put points into W unless you have to. The ability is almost worthless when your jungler is not nearby. As far as your ultimate is concerned, you should only put a point into it if your jungler is paying attention to your lane. In some games he will be needed bot lane more often than not, which means that you get your first point in R by level 10 instead, so you can level Q and E sooner for more damage. However, you should strongly encourage your jungler to come for some ganks, because Kalista's ultimate will translate into free tower dives after you've pushed the enemy top laner under his turret. You want to be pushing most of the time so you can harass the enemy and deny their farm, but keep an eye on the minimap and make use of your ghost poros. The enemy jungler will most certainly help his poor top laner, and Kalista is very squishy. You need to step back if they threaten to kill you with numbers advantage. Kalista scales extremely hard with boots and attack speed, so your optimal purchase on your first back is an extra Doran's Blade plus Berserker's Greaves. The second blade is optional, but it allows you to bully the enemy even harder and can also be helpful if the enemy jungler is camping you. Afterwards you buy a Vamp Scepter, which you upgrade into Blade of the Ruined King as soon as possible. In Korean Challenger solo queue, people have been experimenting with Sanguine Blade first item, but the core build of Blade of the Ruined King and Rapid Fire Cannon is performing better. After these two core items, Kalista's build path is very flexible. You can buy Scimitar to counter enemy crowd control, Executioner's Calling and ultimately Mortar Reminder to deal with heal spam, or Runan's Hurricane for maximum teamfight damage output. If you merely need to ruin the fun for the enemy assassins, you can buy Guardian Angel or Morph Mortius respectively. And in those games where your team needs you as a split pusher, you can still buy Sanguine Blade. Just adapt to your individual games and make sure you click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Lane phase is definitely skill intensive, as you need to position very carefully for maximum pressure. During the mid to late game, however, you can team up with your jungler for nasty combos with your ultimate. This spell is a highly potent offensive tool, as it allows your jungler to engage without using any of his own gap closers or crowd control spells. This is essentially Kalista bot lane on steroids, because as a top laner you are over leveled due to solo experience, and the jungler also has higher gold income than the support. While you technically still could use your ultimate to protect your jungler from danger, using it offensively in the beginning of a teamfight will be a better choice in most cases. Speaking of teamfighting as top lane Kalista, your positioning and decision making during teamfights is exactly like playing Kalista AD carry. Despite being over-leveled, you are still somewhat squishy even with defensive items, and you will most likely die when you are careless and face tank enemy crowd control. This is also the reason why QSS or Mercurial Scimitar are so valuable. Normally, you need to wait until the enemy have wasted their crowd control spells on someone else before you commit to a fight. But having QSS ready allows you to play nasty mind games with them. They might notice you being out of position and potentially even use their flash to get a stun on you, only to realize that you break free and kill them, ultimately turning the situation around. Generally speaking, as long as you are allowed to auto-attack, you can mitigate a lot of incoming damage due to all the lifesteal in your runes and items, and due to the fact that your passive allows you to reposition for free. What is true during the lane phase is also true later into the game, since Kalista absolutely destroys tanks with her passive. However, you need to keep an eye on the enemy item builds. If your lane opponent knows what he's doing, he will buy Ninja Tabby and Bramble Vest against you. Should they have the opportunity to stack even more armor, you should focus on outscaling them with farm and making plays together with your jungler. At a certain point, it is simply not worth harassing them anymore because they are too tanky. In extreme scenarios, you might even be forced to buy Last Whisper as early as second item. All in all, Kalista is a solid top laner for you to pick if you are already good at playing in the AD carry position, since the necessary fundamentals carry over. Nonetheless, you need to keep in mind that she is a high skill cap champion that needs a lot of practice to get good, so try her out in normal games before you bring her to solo queue. If you enjoy playing AD carries in general, then you can learn how to play my favorite champion Misfortune by clicking the link on your screen right there.